here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
Welcome back, anybody who's watching. If you guys have any questions or advice that you want from all of us here at fantaCTE, feel free to write in on the chat. We are live on YouTube. My name is Nick Masick. We also have, as always, Vital the Juiced and Lonnie Cox. I say as always, but it's as usually because every once in a while I have to get a substitute for you guys, but it's never as good.
Not me. I never miss.
You've never missed that? Not even once? Has it always been?
Pull the tape. Perfect attendance.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's just Lonnie that we occasionally have to. So Vital was just noticing before we went live, before you joined us, Lonnie, that I have this is my new merch. I don't know if you guys saw. Gold.
Oh, that's dope. I like that.
Right? It looks fly. Yeah.
Nice.
I got a bunch of them made. Everybody who's a partner in some way, shape, or form gets a free one, obviously. So you guys, next time I see you, I'll have shirts for you because this is.
I'll take a 2X.
I've got a 2X with your name on it.
I'm appreciating that you're going to treat your partners the same way you're going to treat random strangers at your show. You know you're going to give them out for free.
What random strangers? I don't give any random strangers free. Well, no, that's not true. I raffled one off at Blue Juicers. So, but because I raffled it off, I also sold 2 more to people who wanted to win. So that's the whole idea, right? You know, aside from getting the brand out there, getting the merch out there, having people look good, something that says Gold Coast.
They look nice though, for real. Good design.
Yeah.
It's dope.
I love it. I got Gabe Corchino to design.
Oh, that's my homie.
Yeah, man. Gabe's the man. We got to talk news. First big news today. You guys heard about it? Cam Newton released.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
surprised or not surprised?
I'm surprised of a release, but I figured he would have. Mac Jones would have took his job over maybe like 4 games in anyway. Is what I figured, but
too expensive to keep as a backup, I would imagine. That's probably why they cut him.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to be there.
And also, Bill Belichick is probably doing him a favor and being like, you're really not a backup quarterback. You can start, in a lot of other places.
Yep.
Definitely some enticing options for him for sure.
Where do you like? Where do you think?
I think him at Washington, if they get some beef on the running back, if they get a nice running back, I think him at Washington could be a pretty nice little deal there. A nice defense.
I was thinking the same thing.
Really? You would take Cam right now over Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you still have Fitzpatrick, which Fitzpatrick works good as a backup. He really does.
He was working,
so you still have him.
He was working pretty good as a starter last year.
But
again, is he better than Cam Newton? Like, does Cam Newton, in baseball, they have the wins above replacement. So it's like, what's Cam Newton's wins above replacement versus Ryan Fitzpatrick? It's probably close. But again, do you win 1 or 2 more games with Cam Newton versus Ryan Fitzpatrick? Probably, I would say. That
division's close too. So it could push him over the edge.
I'm not so sure you do win more with Cam over.
Cam was looking good his past couple of games. It wasn't like it was last season. He had a weird season. I agree, but he was looking good the last couple of games.
Fitz looked really good last season. I mean, you got it when he got taken out. He was.
I love Fitz, dude. I agree. Maybe I just think the ceiling on Cam is higher, and that's what they're going for. Yeah,
correct.
I mean, maybe, but they have so much speed at wide receiver. I just feel like Fitz is more equipped for that offense, for what they've designed. They have great receivers at running back. They have good receivers on the outside. He's the better thrower of the football right now. And where I see him, and one of the few places that I could see him going right away and starting, like hands down, is Houston. And I don't know that he would take it because it may be just a 1-year deal, kind of maybe just not even the full year, because if Watson comes back at some point, we don't know. then obviously he's not playing over Watson. So, but he could go there right now and help them more than I think he could help any other team week 1, you know?
But they kind of feel like a team that's rebuilding too. That'd be like joining the Patriots last year again. I think he probably wants to be more plugged in and go.
That's what I think those are his options though. I mean, at this point, it's either be a backup.
No. Let me see. I just saw a thing. I know he's got options. I
know
for sure Dallas is thinking of having him as a backup.
Well, no, he's got backup options. I'm talking about starter on a contender. I don't see it right now. Denver, I don't know, maybe, but even there, I don't think so.
New Orleans.
You take him over Winston?
Throw him in the mix there. I'm not saying this is. I'm just reading. I'm reading the quote unquote most intriguing landing spots for Cam Newton.
Okay.
New Orleans is one of them.
Yep, that is intriguing.
New Orleans, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, San Francisco.
Okay, San Francisco is one I didn't think of yet.
So these are the Houston, Washington, and Dallas.
I think most of those places are all places he could be able to compete for a job.
Correct.
Like I would want to see him up against Winston. Yeah, I would be like, let's see who does better for real.
Yeah,
because that really is a toss-up.
That's very true. I didn't think about San Francisco though. He could be a starter right away in San Francisco.
Correct.
Mentor Trey Lance, but that's also an offense that is geared towards his skill set. It's a heavy running offense.
Good defense.
Good defense, a lot of run after the catch kind of guys who he doesn't have to be accurate downfield necessarily to get big plays out of Kittle and Samuel and Ayuk. That could be.
I like that actually. That's a game. Nice.
That could be the best fit, I think. Man. Well, I mean, New Orleans also would be a great fit from an offensive standpoint too, because similar type.
Just dump it off to Kamara all the day.
Kamara working that, that read option with him and Kamara would be pick your poison tough.
They probably, I think they also have the best offensive line out of any of those teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think you're right. Interesting stuff. I'm curious to see where he lands in the next couple of days. Fantasy implications. Mac Jones moves up, but probably not a lot. I want to get one of the things we always do, the worst quarterback pick. We're not going to do a worst quarterback pick, obviously, because we're going to have one more. Our next episode is going to be our kickoff special Thursday night. Assuming you guys are available Thursday night, September 9th.
I am not available. I am hosting at Kelly Brothers that night. And if I ain't there, Fassel starts the show anyway, as we all know.
That doesn't start until late, though, man.
If that show says 8:00 on that fucking flyer, that show is starting at 8.
If it's a Thursday night, I mean, I just bailed out on. I'm no longer involved in producing those shows because they've just been not worth doing. But
really,
yes, really. Well, because we got the Thursday shows pushed to 9 p.m. because there's like a music thing happening till 7 or 8, maybe. I think there's a music thing happening till 8.
Wait. The show got pushed to 9?
Well, when I was involved in it, we pushed it back to 9 to try to at least be able to get people in there for comedy. It was, I don't know, it's kind of a mess, the whole thing. But anyway, we could do an early Thursday. How early can we maybe do? Because we should do a kickoff show. If you can't do it, it's fine. We'll substitute somebody else.
I mean, I can do probably. Maybe I can do the thing is Thursdays are hard for me because I'm in the office on Thursdays.
What if you come to my house and do it here with me from my house? We both set up. We're both here.
If the show at
what's
it called is at 9, I can do that.
Okay. All right.
Are you sure it's at 9 though? I mean, I have to ask Fassel.
No, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. We'll figure it out.
Let me see. Let's see. Hold on.
All right. Well, let's get to, while you're looking that up, let's get some more news. Less important, less recent news, but still valid. Carson Wentz is looking like he's back as the week 1 starter for the Colts. Shorten that timeline for the broken foot. So that's a pretty big deal. Wentz,
I don't know if that's a good idea.
What's that? You don't know if it's a good idea?
At all.
I mean, they're going based on the doctor's recommendations. It's a broken bone, I think. So it's, you know, it's not like a soft tissue injury where they just needed to make sure. They just needed to make sure the bone was healing. So he was back on the practice field throwing balls and ready to go. I don't know. Here's an interesting one. And this guy was probably like he was on the radar maybe for like some, you know, like your flyer toward the end of a draft, but Brashad Perriman got cut by the Lions.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he was supposedly going to be in the mix for their number one receiver. Like it was between, they thought they guaranteed him $2 million for this year. It was like $2.5 million. I know, and they don't have a lot at receiver, and they
have nobody.
Yeah, they have Tyrell Williams.
Still cut him,
and they still cut him, paying him $2 million. Like that's just unbelievable to me. And they signed him because he's fast as shit, but just had a bad camp, dropped balls. Bad preseason. Like he went from.
I mean, isn't this the guy, if I'm remembering correctly, that like never really got he never really got going. Like he got. Is this the guy that he got drafted by the Ravens from UCF? Right. That's the guy I'm thinking of.
Yep. Number one pick first round pick, late first round pick. But yeah, he had one good year with the Bucs with Winston, I think, when Mike Evans was hurt, and. Right. But he always got cut. He got cut by the Ravens fast, I think, right? Maybe. Yeah.
That's probably a thing about like not learning the plays, dude. That's like when you get cut like that, I feel like a lot of
Okay, I'm looking him up now.
It's like
he got signed by the Ravens, cut after 2 years, basically, which is not good for a first round pick.
No.
Signed by the Redskins, cut 5 days later. Signed by the Browns, finished the season there, and then the next year went on to sign a 1-year contract with the Bucs, and then last year was with the Jets. Right. Yeah, this guy is not. I don't know.
He came in like they were thinking he was going to be a big because he's so fast. He's like just absurdly fast. He was with the Jets last year. He had a couple semi-productive games, but he was mostly
decent.
Yeah, but he was mostly hurt. Right. So he was hurt most of the year last year. I had him on my one of my teams, like on the bench. Sony Michel got traded to the Rams.
Sony Michel.
Yep, that was a pretty big move. Boosts, I think Damian Harris, right? He's gonna he was a depth option behind Harris. Harris is now like locked in as the Pats' number one running back.
Is that no? There's another guy from the Pats. That's not his. Who's the rookie from the Pats now?
Oh yeah, he's got a hard to pronounce, difficult.
Number 34, I think is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They always keep like deep.
Bro, that guy. His name is Ramondre Stevenson.
There you go, Ramondre. He looked really good.
Real good.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard with Pats running backs anyway, like because they still have what's his name, James
White.
James White, yeah, he's going to catch passes. Like those guys are all kind of.
Do they still have him? I thought he retired.
No.
I think they still have him.
Oh no, he's still there.
He's still there. So it's like it's really hard. It's hard to trust any of them. But Damian Harris is probably going to be, flex like bench option.
From what I heard,
that's how deep it is.
Ramondre Stevenson is the reason they got rid of Sony Michel.
Right. But they got some value for him. Like, somebody wanted him. They got draft capital at least. So he's now backing up Darrell Henderson with the Rams, which is, I don't think it really hurts Darrell Henderson for his value this year. I think he's still he was so good last year, but at least it's maybe a better handcuff for Darrell Henderson if you're going to draft Darrell Henderson because Sony Michel can be productive. Jameis Winston was named the starter. Interesting you brought up Cam, though, but I actually like Jameis as the starter in New Orleans. I think that's going to be fun and exciting, especially when he gets Michael Thomas back. No?
I just think, fantasy-wise, yeah. But, if you're a New Orleans fan now, he's going to turn that ball over so much, man. Come on.
I know, but no, I'm just saying it's exciting.
He's got 39 touchdowns, but he'll throw 39. He'll throw 39 interceptions.
Yeah, fantasy will be fine. It's not going to be a huge hit because he'll get so many yards. But
listen, I'm not picking him to win the division. Spoiler alert for later on for our picks. But no, it's just fun football. Jameis Winston is fun to watch.
Fun.
He's gonna
That's
throw.
The word for it.
He's either throwing a touchdown or an interception. Those are exciting games when Jameis Winston is on the field, man. High scoring games. A lot can happen. Anything can happen. So I'm just glad Jameis is back on the field. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, also as a flyer in fantasy, like as a, if you're streaming a quarterback situation, you throw him in there if he's got a good matchup, man, he could throw for 500 yards. You know that?
Yeah, if it's your team that's like it's going to be a shootout like the fucking Falcons or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Give him all day
Maybe that.
against. Hell yeah, give me him against the Falcons every day of the week. That'd be fun. I've been considering like in one of my leagues just streaming quarterbacks. Like that's my strategy, just to see what happens.
I've done it and won. Like, it's I don't know.
I had to do it last year. I mean, so half the time you end up, I just end up doing it anyway because your quarterback gets hurt. It's like, why not plan on streaming quarterbacks and load up heavy at the top? Obviously, I'm going to see how the draft falls. We're going to talk draft stuff soon. Etienne, oof, sad, really, for a rookie. I mean, just a bummer with that injury. You hate to see a guy get hurt before he starts his rookie year. Like that's really a tough situation.
Yeah.
Now they think
I had him in another league too. We already did a draft. It hurts.
You already drafted? Oh, we're gonna talk more about that in a minute too. That's just.
I think we're a little late. I think most leagues have drafted already. If I'm not mistaken.
And two others drafted.
Not most.
I think we're late, dude.
No, we're late for sure. I know for a fact we're late.
Oh. All of my other leagues have not drafted yet. We are absolutely playing it the right way. It's crazy to me that people draft.
You wait for all the preseason games. That is a smart way. Now I'm mad, dude. I'm so salty. Every expert. And here's another situation. Oh, well, first with the whole Etienne thing, James Robinson, his value goes way up. I like James Robinson. I think he's going to be a second, third rounder in our league. Probably He's going to be great. Carlos Hyde is his backup, and a really good handcuff situation. But if James Robinson is my number one running back, if you just end up with like Travis Kelce or somebody, great tight end, great receiver in the first and second round, I'll take James Robinson as my number one. He was awesome last year. So and obviously he'll get the workload. So
he should be getting the workload. He's good. He's a stud. So I like all that. And then the other one. All right. So here's a situation that Warren told me about from one of his other drafts. He told me that J.K. Dobbins, this is the other season-ending injury at running back. You heard about this? Dobbins out for the season. J.K. Dobbins out for the season.
Really?
Yeah. Oof. So it happened a couple days ago, and they were drafting during that game that was on. It was like one of the last preseason games to be played. They were drafting during that game, and somebody drafted.
He got hurt in practice, if I'm not mistaken.
It was what? It wasn't in practice?
I think he got hurt in practice.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my bad. But anyway, it happened while they were drafting. He got hurt while they were drafting. So somebody drafted him in like whatever it was, the second or third round. And then they found out during like the 8th or 9th round that he was out for the season. I would be so mad. I would be so.
Oh, no, you're right. It was during
a preseason. I knew it was during a preseason. It's like that is just wait one day. But here's what I thought.
And he didn't want to play. They said.
Why would he? Why would he want to play? But that's like one of those things. It's like you never call. I don't know. I grew up snowboarding. You never call last run snowboarding. You know what I mean? Like if you say it's your last run, it might be your last run. Like you never say you don't want to play. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those kind of like superstition things. As a football player, you never say you don't want to play. You know what I mean? But so somebody in his league got totally fucked by that. But what I was thinking about was if it was our league, if we were doing that, right? For whatever reason, drafting early, I would have given them the option to trade, to exchange that pick for Gus Edwards if he hadn't been picked already. You know what I mean?
No, man, you can't do stuff like that. Like it's way too complex. It sucks, but you got to take that L, dude.
They drafted the starting running back for the Ravens. If the new starting running back for the Ravens wasn't off the board, I would have at least given them, because otherwise you're just like they're doomed from the get-go.
That is life, though, bro. That sucks. I feel because what's the difference? Amount of time? Because what if it happens the next day? It sucks, but it did happen.
somebody would have already had Gus Edwards. If they were smart, they would have drafted Gus Edwards as their handcuff anyway. So,
yeah, you can't. That's nonsense. You're being way too kind. Like, what is this?
Too kind. All right, I'm going to keep that in mind if anything happens to you this year, Vital. I'm gonna remember harsh iron fist, which is generally.
That's fine. I just want that all around.
All right. No. Listen, I'm very fair, but that is generally how I run things. But I absolutely would have overturned that tight end situation with Taysom Hill last year. It had not been.
I agree. I still agree.
Shit. That was.
I was trolling you because of like whatever. If you allow it, fine. But also, I get your decision not to because it is like very bullshit.
It was only on ESPN.
I still won.
Yeah, you still won.
Still won.
Thank God that wasn't, because that would have been really hard as a
sense.
commissioner. Yeah, I don't, to deal with that situation. That would have been. This is just. All right. So anyway, we see. Yeah, pre-drafting before the end of the preseason to me is there's just no reason to do it. We have a window of like 12 days, which includes Labor Day weekend. I got it right this time. I always say Memorial and Labor Day. I mix those up all the time. Labor Day weekend, which is we are actually drafting on Labor Day at 4 p.m. Just quick reminder for you guys, which is for us.
Didn't we do that last year?
Yeah, we usually draft on Labor Day.
No,
or was it a Sunday? Did we do a Sunday?
No, last year was like a Sunday.
Okay,
I think so.
You might be right.
Because I remember drafting at Shipwreckers.
That's funny.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to pick, especially now with 14 teams. It's really hard to find a day that no one is working, and also that no one is, and a time that no one has a show. Right?
No, that's a great day.
Like it's difficult. So I think the only person who is definitely going to be at work, as far as I know, is Anthony Turzo. But he said he's like the GM. It's going to be it's afternoon at Tin Roof. So he said he'll sit in his office and he's going to have his laptop. And I just told him, if anything, like if you have to go, like
he did a whole podcast. It'll be fine.
I know he did a whole.
Like, I remember.
It's just like whatever.
But I did tell him middle of a shift.
Right.
Middle shift. I did tell him though, like if he has to go put a fire out in the kitchen, like I will pause the draft for him. It's it's like it.
I mean, if it's on his number,
it's gonna right. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the likelihood that we have to do that is pretty slim, and it would only be for a couple minutes because he's he largely ignores everybody there anyway. Yeah,
didn't he have like an interview that he just like forgot about and?
Oh yeah. It's nice to be the boss, man. He is the boss over there too. It's great. All right, let's talk a little more draft prep. All right, let's get into draft prep. You guys have been mock drafting, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any interesting trends you're noticing in the mock drafts, because they're based on the experts' picks?
I mean, I feel like a lot of, I don't know, maybe the mock drafts I've been doing, people are kind of slave to those power rankings instead of what I would do. Like, I really see a lot of people do that. But I mean, like I say, they're good guides, but I don't know, use some common sense. I don't know how to put the word that.
Use common sense, yes, but also more importantly, like your mock drafts are it's hard to get them to entirely mirror your league, because every league has some differences. Like in our league, I've been trying to do mock drafts for our league, 14 teams, same settings, positions, all that stuff. Rarely does Mahomes go in the first round in the mock drafts, and I think he is definitely going in the first round before it gets to me.
Just because of like people, that's what I would say. Like to get the right kind, I don't know. You get the accuracy in the mock drafts, you'll never get perfect. You'll just try to find some trends, but
yeah. I mean, you get some ideas of who might be there, and more like, do I go, if I take this guy in this round, who do I look at in the next round? Travis Kelce's going really high. It's one thing I've noticed. Pretty much
dude, he's a top tier receiver as tight end. You put him in, you never have to worry again.
Exactly. So the few times that he's fallen to me at like the 11, I might take him if he's there at 11. I very well could, depending on who else is there. I'll definitely consider it depending on what else is going on there. But you got to treat him like he's your number one wide receiver, right? I mean, that's the mentality but also he fills your tight end spot. It's an interesting, like, because then I don't try to get in the hat. Like, I'm not like, oh, now I need to go get a number one wide receiver. I'm like, okay, I already got my number one wide receiver. My other receiver positions are my number 2 and number 3 receivers. So looking at it from that viewpoint, I think is helpful. So you don't like end up maybe missing out on a running back or something.
I think everyone knows that important. And also his relationship with Patrick Mahomes. He's his QB's favorite receiver. Beyond like all that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's huge. I still have so I still end up being tossed up between like, would I take Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce? I think
the first pick, I guess you could go with either. It's your preference. Are you always looking for like this boom situation? Because I will definitely, I guess I'll lean to more Tyreek Hill then, because Tyreek Hill could probably win a game for you, whereas Travis Kelce would be very regular.
Kelce's just
Travis Kelce will win a game for you.
Oh,
I've had him. I have him most seasons. I don't think he explodes for 30 a lot, but he'll always give me in the 20s.
It's always in the 20s.
But if I'm looking, like to win a
isn't that very valuable at the tight end spot as opposed to you can get another number 1 receiver, but you will not get another number 1 tight end pretty much.
Not like Tyreek. They're Devontae Adams. Really, after that,
Adams is going before. Adams is going to be gone. I think he'll be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If Adams falls to 11.
Get another one that equal.
I will take Adams at 11. I don't know if I take. Do I take Kelce or Adams? I don't know. It's going to be. I think I may end up getting a pass catcher in the first round. That might just be how it works out.
What number are you again? 11.
11. If it's Adams or Kelce, I might take those guys at 11. I mean,
what choices am I gonna have, man? Like,
I think honestly, I think you'll probably be looking at maybe Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs. Like those guys are gonna be really good and consistent all year. I think
I might get some better ones than you think, because I see a lot of loyalty picks that I think people are gonna screw up, and I might. Like, I think you're probably have the pick of all those, and I think I still might get Adams, Kelce, or Tyreek Hill.
You might get Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's going to be potential. I
like that too.
I'm most curious. I'm most curious to see how far Saquon falls. That's going to be one of those things. I'm going to do a lot of reading on Saquon Barkley before our draft, because if he's there, that's going to be one of those tough calls, man. It's like, how many weeks is he out? How good is he? How healthy is he? Can't afford to go.
First round picks are so valuable. You have to treat your fantasy team the way Belichick treats his team. Like, it's about minimizing the risk. Like, I would not gamble Saquon, man. It's just not worth it.
This year, I say it's different, though. It's not about minimizing your risks. It's about maximizing your reward, because remember, this year we have 4 more teams, but the same number 6 teams get into the playoffs, just like last year, but there's 4 more teams in the league.
That's what I'm saying. The points are so rare. That's what, it's going to be, there aren't going to be a lot of points scored. So it's better just to not get like a big hole in your system. Like, does that make sense?
How do you feel? I mean, I know where it's coming from, but I feel like this year's more of a boom or bust kind of. What do you think, Lonnie? Are you more boom or bust for our league this year, or are you going to think more consistency? I know it's always a balance between the two, but
I am usually a consistency kind of guy. That's my style. When I go for, the fantasy football, I'm usually a consistency kind of guy. I will take gambles towards the end of my draft. Like, I am a big college football guy, so I love gambling on rookies, and that usually pays off for me. Yeah. You'll see in my picks towards the end of this, I am gonna gamble a little bit on one of my picks here. So, I do like to, I like to go consistent, but in the consistency, there is a lot of quote unquote boom or bustness, right? Like, so I will go higher for someone than maybe other leagues or other people will, but I know for a fact that they're going to score me more points some games than somebody else who might have a higher ADP or something like that.
Sure.
I do lean towards consistency, but I also just kind of rely on my football knowledge to kind of get me through the season.
Yeah. That brings up a really good point that we're gonna come back to in a few minutes. But we actually have a write-in question from a Miles H. What's up, Miles? Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate you. Follow us, by the way. We're on Facebook, Instagram. You can follow all of our stuff on there.
OnlyFans.
Yeah. Hey. Did you put us on? No, that is all you can find on OnlyFans now.
I put myself on OnlyFans. If you guys want to see my dick, follow me.
Perfect. As soon as they took really off OnlyFans. All right, let's get to this question. Miles, he says Tyrell Williams, who is now the number 1 receiver for the Lions, or Mecole Hardman, the likely number 2 receiver, and that's number 2 wide receiver, not necessarily number 2 pass catcher for the Kansas City Chiefs. So Tyrell Williams is probably going to get the most for the Lions. Mecole Hardman might get the 3rd most looks for the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have just such a superior offense. Who are you taking?
The question is how many times are the Chiefs going to throw the ball the game versus how many times are the Lions going to throw the ball every game? You know, do you let Jared Goff throw the ball 60 times every game? Probably not.
I might run,
towards
the Chiefs as well.
I think Jared Goff is going to have to throw the ball a lot because I think they're going to be losing a lot of those games. I think they're going to be playing from behind a lot.
Oh, he's going to have to. Mm-hmm. He's just not going to complete them.
Yeah, but they're gonna start running because they have those 2 good running backs, I think, right? So they're still going to pound the ball, especially up front, until they're losing.
You can't do that until you
Swift.
Yeah,
I bet they will.
You can't do that when you're losing, though. You can't. I'm going to take Tyrell Williams because give me a number 1 wide receiver over a number 3, which is essentially what Mecole Hardman is because of Travis Kelce. I'll take a number 1 receiver over a number 3 receiver, especially on a team that's going to be losing a lot. I'll just give me that. I wouldn't take Jared Goff. Yeah, he's going to throw it away, but that just means he's going to have to throw it even more. So that's my pick. What do you guys want to weigh in? Tyrell or Mecole?
I'll go Mecole.
Yeah,
I just think they just love to throw, dude. They're gonna get TDs, and that's again. I think Goff is gonna have to get yards, but I don't know how many of those yards are gonna be scores or be points. You know,
Tyrell Williams is a big receiver. He can go up and get the ball. He is also going to be a red zone target, whereas Mecole Hardman, he's a big play guy. But he's not necessarily a lot of catches guy. So he might get you a couple big 50, 60 yarders. Tyrell Williams is a red zone target. So that's one of the reasons I would say him. But it's those are both, you're talking about late round depth at wide receiver picks. Either one of them is pretty good. I'd be happy with taking either one of them for my depth spot. And he said also the other question is Tyson Williams worth picking up? Tyson Williams he's the backup for, we should know this. Tyson Williams. Who's Tyson Williams, Villani?
I don't know. Let's see. Tyson
Williams. I was just reading about him. Oh, that's right. Okay. So he's one of the Ravens. I knew I read about him earlier. He's one of the Ravens running backs. I don't think so. He might be they're saying he might be the
now he's number 2, right?
He's number 2.
The 3rd before he was number 2 now. What round are you trying to get him?
He's a handcuff. He's a late round. If he falls to you in the right situation as a handcuff, I would take him. Otherwise, so many of those rushing yards and touchdowns are going to be Lamar, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, and the thing about picking up a 3rd string running back is the team will probably still be looking for a replacement.
That's a very good point.
He'll probably be back to 3rd base.
I could see that was one of the things I was talking to Warren about when he brought up J.K. Dobbins. I was like, I could see them signing a Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm. Right? I agree. That happens all the time. 3rd strings are 3rd strings for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Le'Veon Bell, actually, that might be the perfect situation for him this year. If he's sitting around waiting for a job, that's the job I'd go get if I were him. So, yeah, Tyson Williams could end up being like a 3rd or 4th string, depending on how things shake out with Justice Hill and Gus Edwards and if they pick up another running back. So, no, I'd steer clear of him unless you need unless you get as a handcuff, like last pick or whatever, or before you get a kicker. thank you for watching, by the way, Miles. Appreciate you, and follow the podcast. You can listen to us anywhere. You can watch us. We're going to be doing this every Monday night before Monday Night Football, and we're doing a kickoff special before the Thursday night, September 9th game. Lonnie, how are you going to miss that game, dude? That just reminded me. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? Bucks, Cowboys? Bucks, Cowboys.
I'll be at the bar. I'll be at Kelly Brothers right at kickoff.
They don't turn off the TVs during show.
It's only 2 shows.
Yeah,
they don't turn off the TVs. First side collapse on. They're gonna keep the game on.
Yep. Lonnie's just gonna mail it in from the host spot. He's gonna be like hosting and watching.
There's only 3 comics. There's only 3 of us. It's just me.
Oh yeah. It's the pro show.
Stephanie Wood, R.C. Smith. So
okay, all right.
It'll just be the 3 of us.
Got you.
That'll be fun. It is at 8:30. By the way, kickoff is at 8:20.
Yeah.
Usually. It's gonna be a good game.
It is gonna be good. I'm so excited about this game. I cannot wait for this game. It's gonna be great.
Good game.
Miles just wrote in, already drafted last week. Sorry to hear that, man. No, hopefully you didn't get screwed by any of the injuries. Those are in his waivers. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if you're paying money for those guys, but yeah,
waivers win the season, man. Don't waste it on
well, yes, but those are decent. I'm depends on how deep the league is, but yeah, I like those guys, but I wouldn't bother with what's his name, Tyson Williams yet. Yeah. Keep an eye on him though. So Lonnie, you were talking about
watch. He's gonna run for 240 yards.
He's gonna be this year's.
Yeah, but if he does,
he's gonna be like, what's his name?
Broke the odds, man.
Kareem Hunt. Remember that?
No,
remember Kareem Hunt?
What? The first year?
Remember his first game for the Chiefs? He ran for like 200 something yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. But so all right, I want to get back to something you were talking about, Lonnie, earlier. Late rounds. One of the things that I always want to recommend to people is the late rounds are so important to focus on. Like you talk about how you target specific guys in later rounds where you'll take a chance, or rookies that you think have a really chance to boom. And I'm a big late round guy. Like I go all the way down and as an example, last year I lost Christian McCaffrey and Dak Prescott. I still made the playoffs in our league. And I know it was only a 10-team league, but it's because of that late round work. And of course, work in the waiver wires is super important, which we're going to be covering that all year long, waiver wire pickups and targets. But your late rounds, that's where you can find some. I got Kittle in a late round the year that he blew up. You're going to find some gems in the late rounds. So the guys who are just like, I'll focus on the first few rounds, and then after that, whatever. You're going to lose. You can't win that way, at least not consistently. The other thing I want to talk about for drafting is draft advice. Watch out for runs, especially in a deeper league. So for instance, like a quarterback run, if that starts happening and you're on the wrong end of a quarterback run, you could get stuck with someone who you didn't want to have at quarterback. Has that ever happened to you guys where you end up on the wrong end of a long quarterback run?
Yeah. I mean, it's happened. It's happened, but then, you adjust. Either you take a QB you don't want, or you just pick up a QB every week. I've done that.
Yep.
I am usually a early QB guy, so that does not usually end up happening.
You are. Yeah, you do like going early, and you like going early and often. You usually like taking 2 good quarterbacks. Well, maybe not. I feel like you often have a backup. No, not always.
No. So what I do is I take it that now we're talking about my gambling.
Right.
So I do end up paying attention to college guys that are coming in. Maybe they're in their second year. They're just starting now. I will take some chances on a QB towards the end. That's how I end up with Mahomes and Lamar.
Right.
Same.
Yeah. You had 2 good QBs last year as well.
Last year I had. I
think.
Who did I have last year?
I don't remember. You had 2. I want to say you had 2 solid, because I lost Prescott and I was scrambling for a quarterback after week 4.
Who was my quarterback last year? It wasn't Aaron Rodgers?
You had Watson last year, I'm pretty sure.
I had him after he got somebody dropped him. Sean Mullins dropped him.
Oh, that's right. That's why you had Watson.
Picked him up.
That is not going to happen this year.
I had Deshaun Watson. He was my backup, though. Who was my other quarterback?
Who did you start? Was it Wilson? No, I have. Did you have Russ?
No. Who?
Russell Wilson? You didn't have Russell Wilson?
Who's Arizona's QB? Did you have? Was
it Kyler?
No,
I didn't have Kyler. Who was it?
I don't know. But to your point, there are some very intriguing rookie quarterbacks this year that I've been looking at and considering maybe because I don't always take a second quarterback, but I might look at some of those rookies as a bench stash, you know.
I take second quarterbacks all the time, dude. They're especially if they're rookies, they're worth a gamble, man. If you see Trevor Lawrence in those,
was it Aaron Rodgers? Was Aaron Rodgers my quarterback?
Was he?
I don't know. Was it Tom Brady?
No, it was not Tom Brady because I lost to Tom Brady. Steve had Tom Brady and I lost him.
Yep. Steve took Tom Brady.
Who was my first fucking quarterback? Oh my god.
That's gonna drive you nuts.
It might have been Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, so
he's obsessed now.
These rookie quarterbacks, there's a bunch of them who it's like we were talking about this earlier podcast. Bench stash one of those rookies and just see what happens. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting, and maybe you can potentially use them as trade bait later on because somebody like me,
100%,
has a quarterback get hurt, and but then you set the price way too high, Lonnie, and then you just sit on your both quarterbacks and. You know, that's awesome.
Don't reach too far.
And then I go number 2, and then I finish number 2
I was talking about 2 years ago, by the way, not last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, we can't all. They're not all winners.
Neither are you. We're all losers here.
Listen. I had my team. I consider last year, even though it was the only league I didn't place first or second. I consider making the playoffs a win last year because I lost.
That's inaccurate.
Dak and McCaffrey. This is why you need to pay attention in those later rounds because if your league, like you're not always just playing for first or second. Sometimes you're playing for not last, like in our league. Okay, you've got to get those guys. You've got to build your team if you don't want to end up with a last place penalty. So there's a lot more to play for sometimes than just the money and the glory and the trophy. There's the absence of the shame involved, which Lonnie, you also know about that. We're gonna get to
my quarterback was Lamar last year.
It was Lamar. I was gonna say Lamar.
He kept fucking me up. He kept fucking me over. That's right.
Yeah, he didn't do great. He was not awesome. Interesting. All right.
But then I got Deshaun, and Deshaun took me to number 2.
He was great. He was phenomenal. All right. So any more draft advice that you guys want to impart on our listeners? If you're drafting, this week, this weekend, I've got a bunch of drafts coming up. What advice would you give?
I would give advice, the same advice I gave last year, is do not draft emotionally. Don't draft because of your fucking favorite team. If he's there and he's a good player, I'm a Cowboys fan. If Dak Prescott is available and it's like a good fit for where I'm at in the draft, I'll take him. But I'm not going to take, if I had the number 1 pick, I'm not going to take fucking, you don't take Carson Wentz number 1 because you're an Eagles fan or a Colts fan. You know what I mean? Like, don't do stupid shit like that. If it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. And don't.
Good advice. Good advice. Vital, what do you got?
I would say, absolutely agree with Lonnie, but then I don't know, man. The best advice, I don't even know what's. Sorry, I'm blanking right now.
So, I'll get you think about it for a second because I know you have like what you go into a draft thinking about. One of the things I think about is like I won't necessarily have like a full draft board. I'll have guys that I have highlighted and whatever. But one thing I try to pay close attention to is positions. How many do I have at each position as I'm going through? So make sure you don't forget about a position and make sure you don't overdraft a position inappropriately. So that's one of those, that's the balance of drafting to me is like, when and where are these guys appropriate? And when can I get good position players at this? So it's like, don't end up with, we have 2 starting running backs in a 14-team league. If you end up with 3 running backs in our league, you are screwed, and someone is going to. I guarantee you, someone's going to end up with just 3 running backs, and they're going to be scrambling around, and it's going to hurt them all season long. So pay attention to your roster. Like, each league is going to be different. Pay attention to the scoring system. All these things balance out and play into where and how you draft. I got one league where I only have to start 1 running back. I'm fine with 3 running backs in that league. But because it's only a 12-team league. So, all right. Well, anything else you want to add?
You're saying to have more than 3.
If you have 2 starting running back positions,
correct,
14 team in a 14-team league, and you end up with only 3 running backs, you are probably going to be in trouble.
Right.
I mean, just from bye weeks alone, you'd have to. You better plan on your bye weeks.
You have to be really lucky. Yeah,
you have to get lucky, and you have to plan your bye weeks very, very, very carefully. And if you're going to do 3 main running backs, grab a handcuff or 2, in late rounds.
And we are in this season is pretty light on good running backs, to be honest. There's not that many dominant running backs in the NFL this year.
Well, actually, I think that helps our league, honestly, because there's more time.
Oh, for sure.
So there's less running backs that are going to be dominating all the touches, but that means there's more time share. There's more backs that are going to be getting some points. So I think that actually works in our favor.
Now that I think about it, the NFL is kind of trending away from offensive superstars. There are some, but I think some of the big names in the NFL are really on defense, if you think about it.
That's a good point. There are some huge names on defense. And we're going to get to our picks here in just a minute. Vital, anything to add?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say probably go for consistency over the boomer bust thing. That's just my opinion. Try to build the most healthy, consistent, solid team you can. And then it's because everything else, all that waiver wire work you're going to have to do throughout the season is patchwork on that team. So try to build it as solid you can so you don't have to do a lot of work.
That's good. That's good advice. Okay. And then the last thing I always say is don't drink and draft. Don't do it. I know, but I'm not talking about have a beer while you're drafting, fine, whatever. But if you get hammered before you draft, you are going to end up with 3 tight ends or you're going to fuck something up. I guarantee you. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and get hammered tonight and then do some mock drafts and make notes about all the things that you screw up while you're drunk drafting. Okay. Because you will make some horrible decisions. You'll look back and be like, Jesus Christ, how did I do that? That was the worst. I shouldn't have done that at that time. And set your timer too, by the way, set your time limit on those mock drafts realistically.
I like the idea of wasted mock draft. I might try it. For real. That sounds hilarious.
We should do one.
I want to see what teams I build.
That would be a fun experiment, actually. We
8 tight ends. I was this is a new meta.
We could do that'd be a fun podcast. Maybe we could do that for next year. Drunk mock drafting. We have a beer between each mock draft, and see how bad they get at what point they get. Because they always grade them or whatever. See what the lowest grade we end up with is.
Let's do it. Lock it in for next year.
That is, I'm gonna put that one in the notes. But do not drink and draft. You will regret it. I guarantee it. Somebody always screws up their draft because they got too drunk. Drink after. I'm not saying don't drink after your draft. Get hammered. Celebrate how awesome you just drafted. But don't get wasted before you draft. It's not worth it. You're going to screw something up horribly. All right. Let's move on to our preseason picks. All right. So this is something we did last year. But we're expanding our contest. This is the contest between the 3 of us for the whole season for the podcast.
But I won easily last year.
Easily is not necessarily the word I would use to describe your winning, but
it might have been my 20 points. In every sport, 20 points is a lot.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I accidentally deleted all of the statistical information from last year. All we know is that you won and that Lonnie lost. That's all we know at this point. So no, it was close between me and Lonnie at the end, though. It came right down to the Super Bowl. And of course, Lonnie had Vital's face on his belly for a good stretch
That's
of time.
true.
How long did it last for?
I sure did. Like about 3 weeks.
Was
Oh,
it 3 weeks?
nice.
Oh man,
Yep.
That's crazy.
And it like would have lasted longer. It did start peeling, and then I kind of like, I took it off, but like it would have lasted longer,
Yeah,
look at that.
That's solid,
Good to
man.
know.
All right, so that same thing this year, but we have expanded our picks. So we're picking a lot more preseason stuff, and then of course we're going to do DraftKings, which anybody can play along with us on a weekly Monday Night Football DraftKings. Our first DraftKings though is going to be for that first kickoff night, that Thursday night. We're definitely doing a DraftKings for that one, and we're picking worst QBs also. Before we do this, quick question: if you end up with who is the worst quarterback who you're taking as your starting quarterback? If you end up on the wrong end of a QB run, who's your 14th quarterback in our league?
I've got a list right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up too. I'm curious because it's been the projections have been kind of moving around a little bit, and I want to know who's your 14th quarterback. Because it's kind of basically like your worst quarterback pick. It's not gonna count for anything. I just want to know who your worst quarterback is. Right now, it looks like who we got down there. That range. So
Ben Roethlisberger, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, right around there.
Matt Ryan and Joe Burrow.
Burrow's probably.
Burrow is like the 13th ranked right now on Fantasy Pros. Trevor Lawrence is 15. Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins. How about Tua, Vital? You taking Tua? How much do you believe in Tua?
Definitely. Tua's way down there, man. I would honestly, out of these guys,
would you take Tua?
I would take Tua.
Would you take Tua over
Tua or Ben Roethlisberger? I'm saying
Roethlisberger's not ranked that high. He's like 19th on this list that I'm looking at. Would you take Tua?
Yeah, no, I know.
Would you
he's
take
like in the 20s for me, but
yeah. Would you take Tua?
I think those guys are more consistent than a lot of these rookies that they're putting up.
How about Joe Burrow though? Would you take him over Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you take Tua over Joe Burrow? Not me.
I take Tua and Roethlisberger over Joe Burrow for sure. that line, bro, that line is trash, and they did not build up enough for it.
How about they
like bro's going to be in the dirt?
I think they did address it a little bit. I also think they're going to be throwing a lot, and that wide receiver core is really good. So I'd take Burrow. I wouldn't be too broken up about having Burrow. I would take a Trevor Lawrence probably, or somebody to as my backup. But yeah, that's like a streaming situation. Okay. What about you, Lonnie? Who's your worst 14th quarterback? It's not, I know you're not going to get there, so you're not giving away any.
No, I'm not going to. But
if for some reason, because it's a 14-team league, what if you ended up on the wrong end of a QB, a hot? QB?
You're at 14. Like there's some good quarterbacks down there. You know what I mean? Like Justin Herbert is down there. Matt Stafford is probably going to be down there. Matt Ryan.
Herbert's number 7, bro.
I'm looking at the list.
Yeah, but are you guys looking at like fantasy power rankings? Because I'm I'm looking at like PFF power rankings, and I think they're different. Hold on.
I'm looking at Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, I'm looking at fantasy too.
Okay, let me see.
Justin Herbert's
let me take a look.
He's like the 8th fantasy ranked quarterback right now. He's ahead of.
Okay, because the PFF is much different.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if Jalen Hurts is.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Fantasy.
You're looking so basically like Joe Burrow, Matt Ryan, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Tua.
Like tier 4, right? Tier 3, tier 4.
Yeah, close to tier 4, low tier 3, high tier.
So it's 4. Like Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan.
Of that group, who do you like the most? Who would you be like, all right, I'm okay with it? Worst case scenario.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
probably.
That's
just Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's going to put up big numbers.
He could suck.
Like who's got the best receiver out of that group is probably Justin Jefferson or Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, you're right. Calvin Ridley's.
So I would say it's between those two, Kirk Cousins or Matt Ryan. I would kill myself if I was between those two quarterbacks, though. That's just the end of your fucking season, you know.
It's just a
Like
lot
you're
of
playing
stress.
waiver
man.
wire shit the whole year. It's like, ugh,
Yeah, that's streaming quarterbacks, man. Welcome to my world.
sucks.
That was my
But you'd have a really
world.
good running back and a really good receiver, you know?
That was my whole world last year, and I was supposed to have
Yeah.
McCaffrey, and also it was the whole. It was
Right.
horrible. All right, so let's get to our picks. So we are picking a whole bunch. We'll do the same pick. We'll do it all together, right? Each one. So we're picking all of the.
Okay.
We're picking MVP, all the awards, and then we're picking division winners, championship games, and Super Bowl, and the winner. Okay. So let's start at the top. You guys have your lists up?
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna be fun. So
I
who
do.
you got for MVP?
Patrick Mahomes.
I think we're going to see a big leap this year. I'm taking a gamble, but I think we're going to see Josh Allen hoisting the MVP trophy this year.
And I took a shot with Matt Stafford.
Ooh, you've been high on Matt Stafford.
A little bit of a dark horse, but he
NFL MVP Matt Stafford?
that's where I'm going. Would you
Oh,
Yo,
believe
you
dude.
were high on him
Patal,
too, Lonnie.
Patal,
That was
what's
so
the
good.
tattoo going to be? What are we doing for tattoo?
Do you guys know that Matt Stafford he's tied for the second most preseason votes?
I like Matt Stafford. I like him. I think he's a great quarterback. He's a winner, but he's not going to put up MVP numbers. Next. Let's go.
Here's what I say. I think their team is going to have so many wins,
Yes.
and he's going to have phenomenal numbers that I think he gets the MVP vote by putting them over the top. He edges out maybe
Let's
some of the
see.
other guys. So anyway, it's
Let's
a
see.
dark,
That would be great. I would love to see that.
it's
I
a
just don't
little
think
bit
it
of an emotional pick, I admit.
Okay.
I was
I
gonna
love
say
it.
that-
I love
That's
it.
like a
I love
storyline. Everyone,
Yes.
It would be great. But he's
I would
also
love to see that.
with the Vegas
Really?
odds. He's like the fourth best odds to win MVP right now in Vegas.
Okay.
So
love it.
You and
not a
Vegas.
lot. Not I mean,
What do they know?
the marriage between that offense, Sean McVay, Matt Stafford's ability, it could very well happen. So I like that we all have different MVPs. That's
I
fun.
love it.
So 2 points for the MVP is going to be it. Defensive Player of the Year. Go ahead.
Aaron Donald, right?
You picked Aaron Donald? Yep, you did.
I think we're starting to see a little bit of we're going to see a little bit of Defensive Player of the Year award fatigue. Like just because LeBron James is necessarily the best player in the league, he didn't win MVP 4 years in a row because it starts to get old.
Mhm.
Eventually, I think also you're going to see a huge leap if he can stay healthy this year from Chase Young, and he is going to be my Defensive Player of the Year.
So I like both those picks. I almost picked Chase Young. My initial thought was to pick Chase Young, but then I was looking at everybody else who's playing, and I decided to go with Nick Bosa. Also, very much a dark horse pick, but
not really. I mean, Nick Bosa. If I looked up the odds for this one, and it was Aaron Donald, of course,
Yep.
Myles Garrett, Chase Young, and Nick Bosa were the top.
They were all in
And
there.
I think TJ Watt was also up
TJ
there
Watt
as well.
he's got pretty good shot. Nick Bosa, that was my pick. It's once again dark horse pick. I'm going with Nick Bosa because I think they might end up with the best defense or one of the best defenses. And a lot of times,
I'm sorry, is Nick on the 49ers or is he on the Chargers?
he's 49ers.
49ers.
And
He's a Fort Lauderdale boy, so.
Yeah. So, and the Rams actually have 2 really good defensive player of the year candidates, which sometimes hurts both of them. You know what I mean?
Remind me his name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the other guy's name.
Jalen Ramsey.
Oh! But don't they have another defensive lineman that's unbelievable? I can't remember his name right now.
I'm not sure. Yeah, they do, but I forget who we're talking about, who it is. But anyway, but with the Rams, they're going to be talking about Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. And I think that kind of hurts both of them because they're on the same team. It's like, who's more important to this team? We can't even decide. So how can we decide who's more important overall?
And I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to win Defensive Player of the Year because they're not going to throw to him as much. Like, it's very hard for a cornerback that is established in the NFL to win Defensive Player of the Year. Very hard.
Definitely. But it's not unheard of.
Not impossible. Stephon Gilmore did it 2 years ago.
He did. All right. Offensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
Josh Allen.
You go first. Oh, Josh Allen.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to echo my MVP.
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
I'm actually.
It's very
You didn't
rare.
echo your
But it's
MVP.
very rare.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going with my MVP. I'm going with Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
I think he's going to have just another explosive year on a team that doesn't win very many games. So I think that's a recipe for offensive player of the year. He could be in the MVP mix as well, but I think he's probably going to win. If he's healthy all year, I think he's offensive player of the year. All right, defensive player of the year. Defensive, now we're doing rookies. Defensive rookie of the year.
Mika Parsons.
Me too.
Me too. All right, so nobody's gaining any ground on defensive rookie of the year. That's fun.
Have you guys seen him?
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Oh my god, dude, he is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
Yeah, he's gonna be special. Okay, offensive rookie of the year. This one's gonna be interesting.
I gave it to Mac Jones actually. He moved up, man. I think he's gonna do well with the Pats right now.
How about you, Lonnie?
I gave it to Trevor Lawrence. T-Law.
I went with Zach Wilson.
Okay.
He looks nice.
He looks really nice. I think Lawrence is. I think because they're going to be behind so much, he may throw more picks, and his overall numbers might not be as impressive. I think Zach Wilson has a stout defense behind him, and I think they're going to win some games. And I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to be So, all right, that's fun. So we all picked different offensive rookies. That's good. All right, division winners. This should get interesting. NFC East. It's out.
Fly Eagles fly.
Oof, Eagles. Wow, Lonnie. I am also with Lonnie on this. Cowboys.
They're gonna have a decent year. They're gonna have a good year this year.
I think they're gonna be hurt again. I think they're
I don't think so.
I see injuries for the Cowboys.
Defensive coordinator is new. I think we have a good year this year.
I think you're going to be set.
Not like Super Bowl winning, but I think we have a good year.
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys as well. They were their offense was so hot. I think they pick up where they left
So
off.
good last year.
Yeah, before Dak got hurt.
CeeDee Lamb is going to probably overtake Amari Cooper as the number one receiver this year.
You think so?
CeeDee Lamb is
He
going
already
to be
did, I feel.
far in the NFL.
I feel like he already did, man. In the beginning, the season, but but towards the end, no way. It wasn't even close. They barely threw to him. CD was every game, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they would not have given him number 88 if they did not intend for him to eventually overtake Amari Cooper.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. All right. NFC West. Vital.
Rams.
I got the Rams. Okay. We're all on the Rams. So, yeah, you believe in the Rams. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
NFC North.
Packers.
Okay. NFC South.
Bucks.
Yeah. Okay. So the only difference we have is NFC East, and me and Lonnie have the exact same division picks for the NFC. Interesting. All right. AFC East.
I don't want to say this, but Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, we're all on the Bills. Okay. AFC West.
Chiefs.
Okay. No changes there. AFC North.
Ravens. I think they have a good season. They're going to come back.
Browns.
I'm also on the Browns. Man, me and Lonnie we have the exact same division picks so far. All right.
This is why I'm going to win.
AFC South.
Titans.
Okay. So, dude, we picked the exact same division winners, Lonnie. Nobody's going to make up any ground there. All right. And we actually, their only difference was, I think, the AFC North and the NFC East. Those are the only two that you differed from us on. But and those are the two hardest to pick, in my opinion, also.
Yeah.
All right. NFC.
I said there was a lot going on. There's a lot of shuffling right now.
Yeah. All right. NFC Championship game. Vital, you want to
the Bucks and Packers.
Lonnie?
Sam. I think we have a repeat.
Repeat from last year. I went with Bucks Rams. And AFC Championship game.
Chiefs and Bills.
Repeat. Mm-hmm.
Both you guys are on. I also picked that one, Chiefs Bills. So we're all in the same championship game. Dude, you guys both picked repeat championship games. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. No different teams in the championship. I mean, they all look like the best teams. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat them. Okay. Super Bowl.
Yeah,
picks.
I think that's what.
What do you think? What?
All right, this is where it gets different. I know.
Yeah, this is where things got. Yeah.
Packers and Chiefs.
Packers Chiefs. Super Bowl 1 and 2 rematch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Lonnie?
Chiefs, Bucks, repeat. We go back.
I also took Chiefs, Bucks, repeat. Okay. Lastly, Super Bowl winner. Vital?
Chiefs got payback this year. Let's go.
You guys are both on the Chiefs this year. You know who I picked. I'm on the Bucks.
Tom Brady.
I'm going for a repeat. Bucks over the Chiefs. So
here's what I'll say is that the Chiefs' entire strategy is to beat the Bucks in the Super Bowl this year. They drafted to win that game. That's it. They don't give a shit about any other team. They want the Bucks. They are hungry,
if they
bro.
stick by, dude, they're killing them.
Oh, man. I hope we get that rematch because that.
I do too. I would love to see that.
I don't think we will.
No, probably not. But you know.
I mean, if there's ever a year where like it really seems
that's so rare, a Super Bowl repeat,
historically rare, but like, man, there's years where it's just like these are the two best teams. Unless some weird stuff happens, these are the two best teams, and they both looked like it last year, and they both look like the same.
No, the NFC is closer than the AFC. I think the AFC is really just two teams.
It was
AFC.
The AFC is pretty as wide open as it's been in years.
I agree. There's some really good. The Titans.
You've got the Chiefs, the Titans, the Bills, the Browns. The Ravens can sneak in.
No,
you know what I mean? Like you've got some good teams.
I don't see the Browns.
There's some challenge.
As Super Bowl contenders,
the Browns were 2 wins away from the Super Bowl last year.
They're not Super Bowl contenders, dude.
Bro, the Browns are a good team.
They overachieved last season, is what happened.
Nope.
I promise you that they will do worse this season.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. I think they win their division this year.
Yeah. And I think
well, that's one of our differences. Yeah.
I think you're basing your NFC being much closer. Like the NFC playoffs were not close. Okay. Right. It took the Chiefs. The first 7 games were a little dicey. You know, first 12 games really were like a little bit dicey. But man, once the Bucks figured it out, once Brady got that offense humming.
Correct.
It wasn't even close in the playoffs, dude. None of the games were close in the playoffs.
Right.
None of them.
Their whole team stayed. I think they have all 32 starters coming back.
Yeah.
This is 22, 32. And all 22 starters are coming back. You
got guys like Antonio Brown, who's going into his second year with Brady.
Why you guys question the order?
Third year with Brady.
I'm the one who got this right. You'll see.
All right. Guys, I have to go. I have a show.
All right.
To get ready for.
Have a great night, guys. We will be back for our kickoff special, hopefully September 9th. Thank you guys for listening. You can listen to us everywhere you can find podcasts. Watch us on YouTube. Follow us everywhere. We love you all. Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Have a good night, guys.